Morning Chameleons. I'm Khalees Bouquet.
And I'm Henry De Leon.
And this is the Quail Valley Kids Morning News for Friday, February 14, 2020. Happy Valentine's Day!
Tomorrow, Adan Salazar celebrates birthday number 11.
On Sunday, Alan Lopez turns 9.
And on Monday, Brandon Peralta turns 11. Emmanuel Hudson Mendoza turns 10, and Emily Perez and Jonas Salazar turn 9.
Happy birthday, everyone! What's for lunch?
Today we're having orange chicken bowl or Caesar salad, cucumber coins, crunchy cherry tomatoes,
made from scratch ranch, steamed broccoli,
yuck, broccoli,
peas and pears, seasonal fruit, farm fresh low-fat milk, and frosty chocolate milk.
That sounds good.
Yup, except for the broccoli. Ugh.
Ladies, get your pretties dressed ready and your dancing shoes on. The Daddy-Daughter Dance is coming next Friday, February 21st.
So ask your dad, granddad, stepdad, uncles, or any adult father figure and come to dance night away.
Don't forget to turn in your reservation form so PTO knows how many daddies and daughters to expect.
Let's turn it over to Carity and Jocelyn.
Jocelyn, come on.
Sorry, I thought we were popping up. Oops.
Thanks, Khalees and Henry. In other news, Catherine winners for Thursday were
Kindergarten, Mrs. Brown, Mrs. Montiel, and Miss Kovacs. Miss Kowalski's class was too messy.
First grade, all first grade classes were too loud.
Second grade, there are no winners in second grade. Mrs. Cordova's class was too messy.
Third grade, Miss Parks.
Fourth grade, Mrs. Houston, Mrs. Rocks, Mr. Saba, Mrs. Murr's class was too messy.
Fifth grade, Miss Burchant, Miss Cavatek, Miss Coopin, and Miss Aperchi. Miss Kessler class was too messy.
Good job, winners!
PTO is having another family night. Save the date, March 5th from 6 to 7:30.
Henry Ocean Flipper was born on March 21st, 1856, and died April 26, 1940.
He was an American soldier, former slave, and in 1877, the first African American to graduate from the United States Military Academy at West Point, earning a commission as a second lieutenant in the U.S. Army.
He was assigned to one of the all-black regiments in the U.S. Army, which were historically led by white officers.
Who is Henry O. Flipper? Why is there a dinner and an award celebrating his legacy?
Henry O. Flipper was born a slave in Thomasville, Georgia on March 21st, 1856.
After the Civil War, Flipper started his education at the American Missionary Association and later attended Atlanta University.
Early in 1873, he wrote to his congressman, James Freeman, and requested appointment to West Point.
After some correspondence, Freeman nominated Flipper, who passed the required examinations and was admitted to West Point on July 1st, 1873.
Flipper persevered through 4 years of hardship at West Point, including racial slurs, violence, intimidation, and silencing.
Occasionally, when other black cadets were in attendance at the academy, he had roommates, but mostly he roomed alone.
During his first year, he roomed with the first black cadet at West Point, James Webster Smith, ex-1874, who was expelled for failing physics.
During his final year at West Point, Flipper roomed with Johnson C. Whitaker, ex-1880, who suffered through being beaten, investigated, and was later expelled for also failing physics.
Throughout his 4 years at the academy, no one spoke to Henry Flipper, except in the performance of official duties.
Even though Flipper was ostracized at the military academy, he kept his eyes on the goal of graduation and navigated through the poor treatment he received with grace and dignity.
He was not outspoken like Smith, and he did not raise issues of the chain of command like Whitaker. Flipper felt that the majority of cadets would have treated him with proper politeness, as it becomes a gentleman to do, had it not been for the control that a lower social element, representing the worst of American population, exerted over the rest of the Corps.
Flipper felt that the officers treated him with courtesy and impartiality. At graduation, his perseverance earned him the grudging respect of his classmates, who applauded when he graduated.
Flipper later wrote that as his classmates shook his hand, all signs of ostracism were gone. All felt as if I were worthy of some regard, and did not fail to extend it to me.
Flipper ranked 50th out of 76 in his class, and excelled in engineering, law, French, and Spanish.
After graduating, Flipper was assigned to the 10th Cavalry, the Buffalo Soldiers. During his service, he was stationed at Oklahoma and Texas.
At Fort Sill, he served as the post engineer and constructed a ditch designed to drain several malarial swamps.
In 1977, his engineering project was designated Flipper's Ditch and is now a National Historic Landmark.
In 1881, at Fort Davis, where Flipper was the acting assistant quartermaster and acting commissary of subsistence, he was charged with embezzlement and conduct unbecoming an officer and a gentleman, and court-martialed.
He was acquitted of embezzlement, but found guilty of conduct unbecoming and subsequently dismissed from the service.
After leaving the military, he continued to work as an engineer. Later, he served in the Department of Justice as a special agent for the Court of Private Land Claims.
Subsequently, he held several governmental jobs. He was a special assistant to the Secretary of the Interior, working with the Alaskan Engineering Commission, and an aide to the Senate Committee on Foreign Relations.
He wrote several books, including his autobiography, The Colored Cadet at West Point, his memoirs, Black Frontiersman, The Memoirs of Henry O. Flipper, First Black Graduate of West Point, and Spanish and Mexican Land Laws, New Spain and Mexico, for the Department of Justice.
Throughout the remainder of his life, Flipper worked to have his name cleared and his military rank restored.
Henry Flipper died in Georgia in 1940 at the age of 84. In 1976, the Army reviewed his case and posthumously awarded an honorable discharge backdated to June 30th, 1882. In 1999, President Clinton pardoned Henry O. Flipper.
To put Flipper's time at West Point into perspective, the first black cadets entered West Point in 1870. From 1870 to 1889, 23 black cadets were nominated, 12 were admitted, and 3 graduated.
Henry O. Flipper was the first in 1877, followed by John H. Alexander in 1887 and Charles Young in 1889.
The Henry O. Flipper Dinner has been a tradition since 1977, started on the centennial of Flipper's graduation.
The Flipper Award is given annually to a graduating cadet who demonstrates the highest qualities of leadership, self-discipline, and perseverance in the face of unusual difficulties.
That's the news for today.
Dr. Seuss said, "You have brains in your head, you have feet in your shoes. You can steer yourself at any direction you choose. You're on your own, and you know what you know, and you are the one who decides where to go."
So say with us,
No one's in control of me except for me. We are QV!
Teachers, don't forget the pledge.